Hi friends! So today I'm gonna film a little video showing how I do the face up for this Blythe doll. She's already carved and sealed and ready to go. I start by preparing my chalk pastels, and I always get a variety of different colors. Usually very warm tones like peaches and reds and such. I don't always use all the colors I scrape, but it's better to have a variety to select from than to need the color and to be going back and forth. When I do my face-ups, I always start with the lightest colors first, such as white and light peach and pinks. This way, when I want to go darker, I can always go darker, but it's always harder to go lighter. And you always want to make sure to use a very fluffy brush that is easy to pick up the chalk pastels and doesn't leave any weird textures or lines on your doll's face. And here you can see me going layer by layer with the darker shades of reds for the blush. I think it's really cute. And don't be scared to mix your shades to help get the right colors for the look you're going for. I always add pigments all around the face. I make sure to look at real photos or myself just for reference, know where the highlights are, where the lowlights are, and where the colors should really pop. And of course, go with your creativity and your artistic sense as well. And I love to look at pretty makeup photos. I think that's always a good inspiration. You know, you scroll through Instagram and you look up a cute makeup look that really inspires you for your face up. And doing the lips is definitely one of my favorite parts. I think blushing the lips is the most fun because you see the lines and textures start to come out when you add the chalk pastels, and then I always get the sense I'm like, wow, I can't believe I carved those, right? It's awesome. Here's what I'm doing with the different tones and such. Like I've said before, skin is so interesting, and when you look at it, there's so many undertones to it too. And the yellows just kind of give a bit of a nuance in the shades. It's very subtle. I wipe a little bit of it off as well, but I think it's just fun to play with the colors, really. And here I'm just blushing up the forehead. I always forget this step, but I think it definitely adds so much detail to your doll. And I think it's super cute. I just love blush. I know I'm out of frame here, but what I'm doing is I'm just picking up the dark brown pigment and I'm putting it in the nostrils. This just helps create the shadows and the shading, and it just makes it look like there's more depth in the nostrils instead of it just being a hole that I carved. And of course, don't forget blushing the nose as well. When I do a face up, I always like to go kind of back and forth, just seeing which parts I want darker, which parts I think look great. And I'm just adding some more to the lips because I think I wanted it to be more pink and pretty. probably my favorite part of the face up, and it is doing the eyebrows. I love drawing eyebrows and picking out colors. I take a whole bunch out over here. I don't use all of them, but again, I like to have that variety. Over here, I'm just marking off relatively where they should be and trying my best to make them even, looking back and forth. And of course with eyebrows, you can really never get them 100% even. I think, you know, as humans, we always make mistakes, but I love doing eyebrows. I think drawing the individual hairs is just a lot of fun, and it frames your whole face up. I think with eyebrows, it just makes the face up complete, you know? I don't know if it's only me, but I don't like using a pencil sharpener. I think that taking my X-Acto knife and sharpening it myself, I think that really makes it so much more delicate, and you can get to a much finer point. And ta-da! Look how sharp it is. Scraping it on the paper, just making these strokes along the edge, just kind of dulls it just the slight little bit, and it gets rid of the little particles that are still on there. So when you're making the strokes of the brows on your doll, it doesn't leave any like little dots here and there. I usually never plan my brows. I kind of just go along with the flow, and for me it just depends on the personality I'm trying to achieve. Of course, brows really help with the expression, and for this one I just wanted to give her relatively neutral brows because her lip shape as well is quite neutral, so that was the brow shape I went for. When doing the other brow, always to be sure to check back and forth. I always struggle a little bit. They don't really look like they're on the same plane here. But eventually when you add more colors to the brow and you add more strokes, you can kind of even them out. When I look at brows, they always look like they have more than one tone, so I always use a couple colors, and this definitely takes a long time for me, but I enjoy the process. I put on some music or watch YouTube, and I just go for it. When doing brows, I always like to make the very ends of them the darkest point. I think this just creates a really lovely gradient. And again, just taking out some more colors. I took out some of these pinks and purples because the wig I chose for this girl is pink, blue, and blonde, and I think it would be really nice if I incorporated a little bit of that inside the brow itself. I ended up only using the pink because I felt like if I added too many colors in the brows, it'd look a bit crazy. And yes, the brows, gosh, they take such a long time for me, but we're almost there. Lastly, I'm just going in with a black, and this just helps add the final touch for the brows and really darken the ends. And that's the brows. Going back to the lips one more time with the brown and a black just to darken the lines. And also to darken up the nostrils. You want to make sure to apply a layer of sealant every time you want to save your work, and especially before you do freckles or glazing. Next, I'm going to be adding some freckles to her face. To do this, I'm taking some watercolors and I'm taking a flat brush with thicker fibers. This will help make the freckles look a bit bigger in some spots and a bit smaller. This gives a good variety of the dots. Next I go in with a little bit of a lighter shade of brown. This just gives some more variety to the colors of the freckles. The last step is to add some gloss to the lips. So I'll be using triple thick. I really like it because I found it to be the shiniest gloss. But with this glaze, you always want to thin it down, so I just get a bit of water and I mix it with the glaze to make a very, very thin formula, and I just apply it over the lips only once. You just want to be especially careful around the edges and the corners. Make sure you don't get your glaze everywhere because it's hard to get it off when you've applied it, so be precise and take your time. Lastly, I just want to show you what it looks like with the hair. I haven't painted the eyes or even added eye chips and done all that yet, so I think I'll do that in another video. But as you can see, here is her hair. It's super pretty. I think her hair goes really well with her face up. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this process video. Here's just me showing you what's next to come, and have a wonderful day.